Recently on this channel, we talked about Shroud facing backlash for being the face of his game, that being Spectre Divide. Now it's Nadeshot going on a yap and a rant sesh, which is no strange thing for him to do on stream, actually giving his reaction to Shroud being the face of his video game and talking to the troubles of that and other people in the space, maybe trying to do the same thing. But if you guys missed it, Shroud did go viral for a 20-second clip where he got a bit frustrated by people calling out the fixes that his game needed, and Nade reacted.
Of course they know that they're having problems, guys. Well, you think they're just not doing anything? Like, what? Like, hello? They're working. Let them work. Let them cook.
All right, bro, when this TikTok came up on my page, I'm like, dude, I got to get to the comments immediately. See, this is the problem, bro. This is the problem, like, when you join, like, a studio or, like, you take on the responsibility of being a face for a studio, which was kind of, like, a lot of my fear for making our own game.
And I thought this was a very curious perspective because if you guys remember 100 Thieves and Nadeshot, they were set to actually work on their own game. It was tokened as Project X and eventually abandoned. Unfortunately, we never saw too much of that game, but a very similar project, I should say, when it comes to a marketing tie of using streamers and creators who are behind the project to then eventually market and promote the game because they played a part in making it. We were also going to see this around the lines of Dr. Disrespect and Dead Drop. We've seen other creators behind publishing studios or maybe in some form or another connected to their games, but it's still very tricky. And when it comes to prominent faces leading the way of being an investor in a game and also promoting it, I would say Shroud with Spectre Divide has been one of our bigger examples to date.
This comment, doesn't he complain about every FPS he touches? See, now this is the tough part about being a streamer. It's like you could sit there for 8 hours a day and you could have one moment of frustration on a game and it will get clipped out, and that's the only thing people will see from you on a stream. And if you don't watch that person play games or watch their stream consistently, you're going to see something and think like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. All he does is bitch and complain. So of course people are going to feel this way because I know Shroud. I know he's a fucking nice guy. He's a smart guy and he understands games better than most. But like, I have seen a lot of TikToks over the last year where he's complaining about a game or like a feature of a game or a mechanic of a game. So like, bro, when I watch this and I'm like, dude, I gotta go see these comments, right? I gotta go see these comments because people are just like calling, you know, he's talking about his game, the game that he's a part of. There's things wrong with it. And he's like, yo, do you not fucking think that they don't know this? Do you not understand that they understand there's something wrong and they're trying to fix it? Whatever. So that's the tough position that he needs to be, that he's in now, because he's like the face of Spectre Divide.
And so Nate adds on to that, like, yeah, it's very difficult because you have Shroud. He's an FPS gamer, but also an all-around variety gamer. He tries out many of the top titles that we talk about on a day in and day out basis, and he's usually pretty darn good at most games he touches, but that also comes to the flip side of he's not afraid to critique a lot of games out there. And oftentimes when you go on TikTok and social media, you're going to see these bigger gamers like Shroud critiquing tons of games. And so naturally, people expect him to do the same thing with his game. And so it's that difficult balance that we're going to see going forward as more creators and streamers back their own games, how they kind of ride that line. You know, it can't be easy.
It's like anything that is wrong with the game, he's either one, got to bite his tongue and ignore the problem until the team fixes it, or he's going to sit here, read his chat all day of people bitching and complaining, and then he's got to defend the game itself. And then people start turning on Shroud because he's corpo now. He's everything that people find wrong with the gaming community. I mean, he's in a rock and a hard place, bro. This is a tough position to be in, and I don't envy it.
But that does not go without saying of the point that Nadeshot was trying to make is something he previously went viral for, that people nowadays, they want games to fail. Because a lot of the hate comments out there most likely haven't even touched Shroud's game of Spectre Divide. But, you know, when everyone sees a streamer get upset, everyone loves to pile on. And so that's just like the nature of the beast nowadays. You kind of just got to avoid some of the comments. Some of the comments don't even make sense. They're done by bots who just seek engagement. That's been done more so than ever nowadays across many platforms. I think Twitter's a heavy one. TikTok's a big one. Have you guys seen this too? There's literally just bot accounts out there that just say AI related things that don't even make sense, but kind of make sense. And so people like it, and then it just gets a bunch of upvotes, and people think, yeah, that makes sense, when it doesn't.
And it's like, look at this. Spectre Divide is literally shitty Valorant. 13,000 people like this comment. Do you think 13,000 people that like this comment have even played it? I haven't played it, so I'm not going to sit here and say yada, 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 but I haven't played it yet. Imagine this. Imagine playing this over Valorant. Shroud spends years shitting and complaining about bugs in every other game, but when he tells him to fix his game, it's his issue. Shroud getting his own medicine. His game gonna flop. The game is still a thing? Question mark. That hype lasted like 2 days. Just another Splitgate. Nobody playing Spectre Divide. Washed out Valorant. He complains too many games being released unpolished. This, it's crazy, man. It really is crazy. Just the state of the gaming industry and how like kids playing these games perceive the world and perceive the games. Like, look, I haven't played it yet. I don't know anything about Spectre Divide other than the streams that I've watched briefly and the things that I've seen on TikTok. But, I mean, can you guys really disagree with me that people just want games to fail? Like, the cool thing to do, or people's natural disposition, is to hate on something that they don't understand or they haven't played. Where, in a lot of ways, like, I don't have, like, a strong perspective on this. And, this could just be me yapping on stream. But it's like, wouldn't we want more games to succeed? Wouldn't we want more variety and other opportunities to play games similar to every game has been inspired by another game for the most part. You could talk to me about like what came first, the chicken or the egg. There obviously had to be a starting point where all games now are like derived from like this original in the world of FPS. Like every game has pulled inspiration from other games, but I just don't understand. And I think it might just be TikTok or the internet or I don't know what the problem is, but it just, people want shit to fucking fail.
But we always knew this was going to be a problem. I think someone leading the way in this discussion in terms of who has been very critical of other games out there, especially when it comes to sound and all that, Dr. Disrespect, before the whole controversy with him and before he had to unfortunately part ways with Dead Drop, we'll see where the future of that game goes. People were very curious because that dude complains about every game, and it's part of what makes it fun to watch a creator at times when they just get really mad at games. And so people were always wondering, how is he going to critique his own game? Was he going to go at it the same level that he does other games? And it seems that Shroud is still kind of, trying to wait this one out. And I think handling it just about as well as you possibly could. And an even more difficult balance is now that he has a game he's an investor and a small percentage co-owner in, whenever he plays other games, people are like, he's playing Deadlock and not his own game. Like, does that mean he likes Deadlock more than his game? It's a very tricky thing, I'm sure, to deal with. But Shroud is doing his best. Nadeshot gave his long reaction. And what do you guys think about Shroud being the face of his video game? Till next time, thank you all for watching. Drink up, as per usual, and we'll see you back here soon. Take care.